Welcome, welcome, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for January the 9th through January the 12th, 2024, January 9th through January 12th. So that's Tuesday through Friday. And trust me, y'all, I can sum it all up in this one recap. So let's get started. We have, Victor put Adam and Nicholas co-CEOs. He gave them a project. They were excited. They hammered out all the details. They were crimson lights, and they were pretty satisfied and happy what they came up with each other. Optimistic. Sharon comes in. She's like, what am I walking in on? You two sitting down here without sparks flying? And they said, yep, you know, and they talked about what a good job, the collaboration they came up with. They were going to pitch it to Victor after lunch, but they were happy. And yes, they worked together. And she said, I like it. I like to see you two like this. So she was genuinely happy that they could do that, accomplish that, right? Who knew your father's brand of bullying would work? So then they went to Victor's office. Oh, Adam had lunch with Sally before they went to Victor's office. Um, but they had lunch, and I'll get back to them. So they tell Victor their pitch, what they saw, and they both bounced off of each other. They both gave each other credit. Adams stepped out first. He goes, that was my idea. Whatever part they were talking about, that was my idea. And Nicholas looked over at him like, here you go. And Nicholas goes, it was his idea, that part, right? He didn't balk him. But then Adam says, but Nicholas, and he kind of turned it on. And so they were bouncing off of each other. And Victor had sitting back with his hands crossed and not really giving them a He's listening to them both. And then he said, I like it. I like it's expensive though. A standalone boutique, that's pricey. And they counteracted with, yes, it is pricey, but it's going to pay off in this way, that way. Oh, they had answers for everything. And he said, it does my heart glad to see both my sons working together as you should. So he was happy about that. And he liked their idea. So Adam has lunch with Sally, and Nick ends up going back talking to Sharon, telling her, that it was a success. But Adam's telling Sally it was a success, and oh, they're celebrating. And um, they decide to have dinner later. And I'm just going to fast forward the progression through the week with them. They end up having dinner, great dinner. They had a really good time. They ran into Nick on their way up the stairs because they were going to go and have chocolate truffles. And Adam said, but I thought we were going to take it slow. He's telling, because she invited him up to her room for truffles. She goes, but I got to warn you, all the good ones are gone. you know, and he said, but I thought, we were going to have dinner because, we could take it slow. And she goes, you know what? I want to celebrate with dessert. And he looked at her like, okay, dessert sounds promising to me, right? The Sally Spectra brand of dessert. Okay. So on their way up, Nick comes in, and Nick looks at the two, and they kind of, hey Nick, okay, what's going on? Hey, okay, whatever. They do a little nicety, and then Nick he doesn't balk at him, but they both, Sally goes, okay, then, well, we're gonna go. So they go upstairs, right? And I don't think Nick came up not once in their conversation when they got upstairs, right? So Nick goes to the bar. And so they go upstairs. And of course, look, not a one person ate a truffle, but there was only a few in the box anyway. She didn't come up there to eat no dessert. She came up there She brought Adam up there to have him as dessert, right? And him have her as dessert. That's what that was all about. So that was kind of funny. Not funny, but that was predictable. And I'm happy to see those two back together again. They are a natural fit. Her and Nick were just horrible together. Then we have Summer. Summer runs into Chance. It's morning time, and he's sitting at the bar. This is, remember, Sharon broke up with him the night before. So he's still kind of bummed out about it at the bar. And Summer's like, "What's going on, Chance?" And he goes, "Oh, just got a lot, on my plate, lot to do, lot to think about." And she says, "Yeah, but you a budding uh, C-suite or exec at Chancellor Winters, you getting ready to start your day. That's not worrying you, is it?" He goes, "No, but there's a lot to learn." He said, "Just a lot of things." And she goes, "Chance, tell me." Because, "Nah, I don't really want to get into it." And so she goes, "But today is your first day, right? Or not, or you are going to work, right?" Because I don't think today was his first day. Because remember, he had apprehensions, or it might be, of having Billy as his mentor. He didn't want that. Well, he needs to talk to his grandmother then. Okay. So anyway, she goes, she's looking at him. "Is this what you're going to work in?" And trust me, he was sitting at that bar with that "I'm a detective undercover" outfit on, and I was thinking the same thing. That's how you're going to work for corporate America? That's how you dressing? No, Chance, no. So she goes, "I know exactly what you mean. You stay right here. I'll be right back." So she comes back with this gift bag. Now, I didn't see her with a garment bag, but she came with a gift bag. She goes, "These are all the essentials you're going to need to make you look like the CEO that I know you could be," and blah, blah, blah. And he looked and he goes, "Summer, you shouldn't have. How would you know my size?" And she goes, "Well, that's the business I'm in. I know how to understand people's or recognize people's sizes." And he goes, "Well, I can't take this from." She goes, "Chance, this is a gift from me." He goes, "I know how much Marquetti's clothes cost." She goes, "That's the perk of being the CEO of the company. I don't have to pay those prices." And he goes, "Well, thank you." So now you know me, Daily Recap folks. You know me. I'm looking at that bag and I said, okay, at best, we have a couple dress shirts, couple ties, maybe a nice belt. I don't know if you could fit a winter sweater in there. I don't know, but guess what? What was in that bag does not make you look like an up and coming executive. Not if he's wearing that leather jacket, right? Chance, do better. Okay. So hopefully the next time we see him stepping into the chancellor office, yeah, he might be wearing some of what Summer gave him, but he better have a suit on. That's for sure. So, I guess, they'll sprinkle a little bit of Chance and Summer in on us. Well, we have Ashley. Ashley. Ashley comes into Crimson Lights, through the back, and she sees Cole sitting at the table, and she instantly flashes back to a young, beautiful Ashley, a young, handsome Cole. They were married. She wanted to have a baby, and I guess his career was just starting. He wanted to go abroad to study, to do some kind of fellowship or internship, and he wanted her to come with her. Ashley wasn't going to leave her daddy's company. No. Then she gets mad because she tells him that Victoria told her that he said that Ashley wanted to have a baby. She goes, "We just discussed that last night, something very personal. And you told your ex-wife that very personal conversation?" And she was saying, that's the problem. Victoria is way too much in our marriage. And he was saying, well, Ashley, Victoria and I, or Vicky and I, were just talking, and she goes, something that personal? He goes, and she couldn't wait to let me know she knew, which sounds just like Victoria, right? So then she flashes out and she walks over to him. Cole, you're a face I didn't ever think I would see again. And he goes, Ashley. And he stands up, he goes, and just as beautiful as ever. And so they give that, little friendly hug. And she goes, oh my goodness, what are you doing in Genoa City? And he goes, oh, I've come back on, some family business. And she goes, may I? Ask him, like, can she sit down? He's like, sure. She sits down. She goes, okay, well, tell me all about the family business that you're back in town for. Now, she knows doggone well Cole doesn't have any family in Genoa City, right? Instead of saying, how have you been? What have you been up to all of these years? How's your career going? No, straight into, what's this family business you're back in town for? And he goes, oh, well, Ash, it's actually private family business. And she goes, oh, okay. And he goes, I heard you got married. Oh, that didn't last very long, and blah, blah, blah. And so he goes, oh, sorry to hear that. And so Victoria comes in and she walks over to the two of them and she says, Ashley, Cole. And she goes, I just, just ran into Cole. And I asked him, what was he doing in Genoa City? And he said, some private family business. And she looks at Victoria and she says, um, so what could that be? Or something to that effect. And Victoria said, private. He said, private. That's the operative word, something to that effect, right? And she's looking Ashley dead in her face, like, why would you say he said he's in town for some private business and you ask me to tell him what it is, tell you what it is? Ashley. And Victoria straight faced as she's saying it. So, if you would excuse us. And Ashley looks, she goes, oh, we'll say no more. And she goes, nice to see you again, Cole. Like, ooh, chilly here. And she walks off, and Victoria kind of glances and she sits down. Is it something I said? She didn't care. She wanted, Ashley, come on. But you know what? It's par for the course. It's par for the course. Remember when Victoria was sitting down at the bar with Ashley, trying to get in Ashley's business about Tucker, asking her a million questions that were none of her business. None. So you know what, Ashley? Yeah, you gave her a taste of her own medicine. Just a little. But Victoria sure shut her down, right? Now let's talk about Ashley. It started from Tuesday all the way to Friday, right? That little Cole interlude was sprinkled in, right? We get on Tuesday, she's so Jack. Why is he doing this to me? He's trying to gaslight me. He's trying to make me doubt my sobriety. Not sobriety, that's Nikki. He's trying to make me doubt my mental stability. Jack, I just want him to leave town. I want him out of my life for good, Jack. Come here, Ash. Come here, Ash. I hate that he's making you feel this way, Ash. So then Ashley decides she's going to call Audra to meet Audra. And Audra is Audra. She reading every situation. So Audra said, I'm surprised you wanted to meet me. And Ashley said, well, I wanted to talk to you about what did he say about the situation with Tucker. And she goes, what? She goes, you mean Kyle's cover being blown? And Ashley said, yeah. She goes, oh, so now you wondering, you don't have any kind of insight as to what could be going through Tucker's mind, what kind of plans he could make. And Ashley says, how do you feel about betraying your boss? And Audra looked at her and pretty much, you know how Audra can be dismissive. And she let her know, no, let me tell you something. Tucker and I have known each other for a long time. And I won't be betraying him. Right? And so Ashley says, well, what is he planning? She goes, I don't know all of Tucker's plans. I really don't. Okay. But I know this because Ashley says, have you ever known, uh, Tucker is telling a vastly different story, what happened in Paris. And so Audra said, yeah, from what I'm understanding, you two are remembering it completely opposite of each other. And she says, yeah, but Tucker, she goes, what's your take on Tucker? And so Audra says, look, Tucker could fulfill my wildest dreams or my worst nightmares. He's volatile in business. He's ruthless. He can be fiercely loyal. He is a pain in my, but let me tell you something, Ashley, I have never, in all the years that I've known Tucker, I have never known Tucker to be physically violent. She says, actually, to anyone. Because if Tucker wants you, he's going to come at you a whole nother way. Physical violence has never been his MO. And Ashley says, he's trying to gaslight me. He's trying to make me think it didn't happen the way that it did. And I know it did. And so Audra kind of looked at her. She says, you know what, Ashley? By the fact that you called me over here, wanting my take, by the way you're acting right now, I think you're starting to second guess, did it really happen the way you say it happened? And Ashley looks at her and she gets up her purse. Well, I knew this was a mistake. And she leaves, right? And Audra's looking at her like, mm-hmm. Because Audra told her, let me tell you something, Tucker loves you. And as much as I would hate it, Tucker would want you two to be together. So no, I don't believe Tucker was violent. And so next thing you know, Ashley's come storming in the GCAC and sitting there. I just left your girlfriend. Tucker looked at her. Well, he almost said something to the effect of, which one is that? He just said something flippant to her. And she sits down. And once again, you are painting a picture that didn't happen. You're trying to say, he goes, Ashley, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know why you remember it the way you remember it, but that's not how it happened. Well, you tell me, Tucker, tell me how it happened. He goes, what do you mean tell you how it happened? I already told you what happened. She goes, no, I want to know. You tell me from the beginning, from the very start. What happened? So he would, okay, you called me. We know we were supposed to meet at whatever cafe. I was excited. And then, he went through the whole thing and how then she flipped the script on him. And he said, I felt betrayed and I felt hurt. And I was angry, Ashley. Absolutely, I was angry. He said, I'd had enough of like you playing games with me. So, yes, I stood up and I dropped the glass, but I did not throw a glass in a restaurant. And as I'm standing up, I moved the chair out of my way. I did not throw a chair in a crowded restaurant, Ashley. I don't know why. He goes, I honestly don't know what's going on here. And I don't know why you would remember something like that. I would not do anything like that. No, you're just trying to gaslight me. You're just trying to make me think that, that something is wrong with me. Somebody's alarm outside. Ignore that, y'all. Something's wrong with me. And he stood up and he said, you know what, Ashley? By the simple fact that you're here and you're asking these questions, I believe you're doubting the way you seem to remember things. And he stood up and he walked away from her. Like, girl, I'm done with you. Done with you, done with that, right? So she's just sitting there like, huh? And I'm thinking, she's cracking. She's having mental health issues. Her family should see these signs in Ashley. Ashley is not new to mental health issues. Okay, they know this. She's irrational, she's spiraling. The whole time to me, since she came back, I'm gonna go see Tucker. I'm gonna do every decision she made was flip-floppy and erratic. Everyone, for even before they went to Paris. So anyway, we'll see where that's gonna go, but it's gonna go down mental health lane for her. It's just who's gonna finally get her to see she needs help. I don't know. It actually may end up ultimately being Tucker that helps her see she needs help. And she's going to have to take a little stay at whatever the mental place is, right? That had her and Sharon housed before at the same time when she thought she was pregnant. Sharon was pregnant, gave birth to Faith, and Adam had the baby switched. And then we have, Victoria and Cole. First of the week, they were talking about Claire's request, didn't know if they should do it, didn't want her to see Jordan, but they want to support their daughter. They don't want to lose their daughter. And ultimately, if they can get this done, even if she doesn't want to see them anymore, this could help her heal. And first and foremost, they want Claire healthy. So they go to Claire and they tell her, yes, that they will make it happen, that she could see Jordan, but they're coming with her. And she says, well, okay, but under one stipulation, I see Jordan alone. Because if you two are there, it's going to turn into something completely different, which it would have, right? So Victoria goes to Newman Enterprises and she asked her father, could they have a security team and the jet to fly Claire to Oregon to see? No, he wasn't having it. And I'm going to get back to that because that's going to tie into my whole Nikki storyline all week, right? So anyway, ultimately, they take Claire to the prison. They bring Jordan in. And then Claire, did you miss me? Did you miss me? Because I missed you. And Claire's just looking at her. So she sits down. That's my gardeners, y'all. They weren't supposed to be here yet, but okay. Right through the recording. So Claire is Jordan is saying, yeah, you know what? I risked my life. I risked my life for you. And those Newman, she went in on the brainwashing. And Claire said, you risked your life for me. She goes, I risked your life getting you out of that place they had you, that so-called hospital. And Claire said, you took me. She goes, and Nikki Newman is lying to you and she's twisting everything. I can see, I see it. And she says, you took me out of the hospital to kill me and Nikki. You were trying to kill us both. And so Jordan looked at her and said, I've made some mistakes, but I love you. And I have given up my life to take care of you. They didn't even want you. She says, they absolutely did want me. You stole me from them. You had them grieving for a daughter that they thought died, and I was alive. She said, I could have had a different life, a very different life. But I was brought up under your venom, your hate, you know. And so she told Jordan. And so Jordan still went on ahead and, turned the story into her narrative on what she wanted. But Claire stayed in reality. She didn't let Jordan, mess up the way Claire knew things were. That no, the Newmans are, she goes, Victoria, my mother and father are supportive of me. They are not, my mother and father are supportive of me. She says, as a matter of fact, I don't deserve to be a part of their family after what you had me do. Oh, they want me in their life and their family. They want me, but I don't deserve to be a part of their family. And so Jordan says, look, you got to get me out of here. You have to help me get out of here. And I would look at, she should have looked at Jordan and said, oh, like you helped me get out of here when they took me into custody. Oh, that, yeah, you know what? Just like I was waiting on you, you wait on me, right? Because I may be in a mental health facility, but I'm still serving a prison sentence because of you, Jordan. So she told Jordan, she goes, I'm not helping you get out of here. She goes, they're gonna kill me. What, you want me dead? You want me dead? And Claire said, no, I don't want you dead. I want you to live a long and miserable life in here. I hope there is somebody in this prison that will make you feel as small and inconsequential as you made me feel. That's what I want from you. And she told her, she says, now, this is the last time you're going to see me. The last time. No, it's not. I have plans. I have plans. And you're going to you play a part in my plans. This is not, so she stood up and she said, guards, guards. This is what Claire did. And Jordan looked and she goes, the guard comes in. She goes, this visit is over. So the guard takes Jordan's arm and Jordan snatches her arm out of the guard's arm. This is not over. You will not get rid of me. You have picked the wrong side. And the guard grabs her arm again and she snatches it away. And now the guard's having to get a little more forceful to push her out the room. She goes, you picked the wrong side. You're going to regret it. Oh, you're going to live to regret it. And she walks out. And that kind of scared Claire. That kind of scared her. So Victoria and Cole come back in and they talk to her for a minute. Claire says, just get me out of here. So they take her, both of them on both sides of her, hugging her as they walk her out. So they're bringing her back to Genoa City. She had her closure, and Jordan did not get under her skin, didn't get her brain working wrong. I mean, it didn't work. But trust me, I don't know how much closure, how did that help? The only thing it let her help is her aunt is even more delusional and deranged than she thought, right? So now we have a whole week of, remember I said, we're back to Nikki. Remember I said how Victoria came to Newman Enterprises and she asked if Victor could let her use the jet and have a security team to escort her and Cole and Claire to Oregon. Nikki walks in on the tail end of that request. Oh, and Victoria says, well, hi, Nick. I knew you guys would be working late after hours. And Nick is sitting there like, yeah. But kind of like, uh-oh, cat's meowish, right? And so she goes, oh, she goes, so, have you been promoted, Nick, into my job? And Nick looks at her, he goes, yep, and Adam too. We're both co-CEOs. And Victoria looked at him, you and Adam. And so Victor said, that's right. Nick and Adam are co-CEOs working together. And Nicholas, she says something, and how do you feel about that, Nicholas? So she says something, and Nicholas says, actually, surprisingly, we're doing well. And Victoria looks, but then she goes, well, you know what? If you think that, she's looking at Victor, if you think that's going to work, that's your decision. Look, I'm here for a favor. And that's when she tells why she's here. But as she's saying what she wants, the jet and the security team, Nikki comes in. Nikki had already been struggling in her office. She reaches in her purse because she can't concentrate. She's getting the shakes from not drinking, right? She reaches in her purse and she gets the flask. No, no, no. And she puts it in her drawer and she closes the drawer. So then that's when she goes to Victor's office, walks into this. And I thought, okay, this is going to be her excuse to drink. Because she's looking for an excuse to drink, right? So when Vicky said to take Claire to Oregon to see Jordan, Nikki goes, over my dead body. And oh, she's talking about what a bad idea. They're going to conspire again and blah, blah, blah. And you don't need to see that woman again. She goes, well, I won't be seeing her, Cole and I. That was Claire's stipulation, that she sees Jordan alone. And Victor says, wait. She did what she did. She's asking a favor of you, and she has the nerve to give stipulations. He goes, I don't trust the woman, sweetheart. I'm with your mother. You don't know what either of them can come up with or do. And so Victoria says, look, Claire's doctors have cleared it. And Michael has gotten the paperwork so that it can be done. So I am a mother. And no, Nikki said something about, I'm concerned about you. I'm your mother or something like that. And Victoria says, and I love you for it, but I'm a mother too. And Claire is my daughter. And she feels she needs this to get closure so she can move on with her recovery. I'm going to do whatever I can to make it happen. And she looked at Victor. She said, you're always spouting about family is the most important. We have to do everything for family. Claire is my daughter, my family. So Victor, and so Nikki goes to Victor, Victor, blah, blah, blah. Don't you listen to him. This and no, I don't. This is a bad idea. And so Victor says, no. She looks at Nicholas. Nicholas, this is Nikki. Nicholas, how do you feel about it? And he goes, Mom, I'm going to support Victoria 100%. And if Victoria feels she needs to do this, I'm with her. As a matter of fact, he goes, Vic, I'm going with you to Oregon. I'll go with you and Cole. And she looked at him. She goes, thank you, Nicholas. Thank you so much. But I don't need that kind of, the armed guards, the security team and the jet is all we need. Jordan is in a prison. And so then Nikki goes, yeah, but Claire was locked into a highly secure mental facility and Jordan got it. She goes, and I'm thinking it wasn't that highly secure mental facility at all, especially since Victoria and Cole could come anytime to visit. People come in and out to visit. That's not high security, right? Jordan's in prison. There is a difference, okay? Big difference. So she goes, Victor, don't do it. And so Victor leans back and he goes, oh. As much as I hate this, he says, I do always say family comes first no matter what. So I'm going to allow you to take the jet and a security team. I don't think it's a good idea, but you are a mother. And I respect that about you, my darling, or whatever he calls Victoria. She goes, thank you, Daddy. Thank you. And she looks at Nikki. She goes, Mom, I hate what this is doing to you, but I need to do this. And so Nikki looks, she goes, well, that's it. My opinion doesn't matter for anything around here. Nothing. And she goes, not stumbling now because she hasn't been drinking, but she's shaky because she needs a drink, right? Or her body is craving alcohol. So as she goes out the room, Nicholas looks at Victor and Vicky and says, does she seem a little shaky to you? And Victor goes, oh, right. Oh. So he then goes to her office. He's finished with Victoria and Nicholas. He goes to her office. And that's where he's knocking on her door. And she's in there on the couch, just lugging. Ooh, 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 that whole flask. Look, that flask don't hold that much vodka. Nikki, she just, and when she heard him knocking on the door, she's holding her flask. And she stumbles to the door and she listens. And he's like, Nikki, Nikki, are you in here, my baby? Are you in here? She's not answering. So he walks away. And I guess she decides to make sure he's gone. She comes stumbling into the GCAC. Now, remember, I said Nick was in there after seeing Sally and Adam going up. Nick was at the bar. And she stumbles. She has to catch on to the banister of the stairs to steady herself. Nicholas is right there at the bar back to the entrance. He should have heard her stumbling and turned around. But he got a phone call and he told the bartender, I'll be right back. I got to take this call. The bartender just poured his drink. I think a single malt neat or whatever that drink was. And so the bartender puts a napkin over Nick's glass and Nick is getting up and Nikki sees him. So, she goes to the left of the stairs, behind the stairs, where nothing really is supposed to be, or where sometimes, look, the jazz lounge entrance isn't that supposed to be that way because the gym part is supposed to be whatever, they change it up. So Nicholas walks by and goes to the right and taking his phone call. So Nikki turns around, she's stumbling, and Lauren comes through the turnstile. And she's like, Nikki? And Nikki, Lauren? And she goes, Nikki, you've been drinking. What makes you say that? Let me tell you about the horrible day I had. And she's my opinion doesn't matter. And she's, I've had a rough day. And she goes, your problems are not going to be solved at the bottom of a bottle, Nikki. She goes, look, let me call Victor. So Lauren picks up goes in her purse and gets her phone. And Nikki, don't call Victor. And she stumbles and falls kind of into Lauren, knocks the phone out of Lauren's hand, almost falling over. And Lauren's like, Nikki. So the phone is on the ground. And Nikki goes, don't worry, Lauren. I'll pick it up. And Nikki's trying to steady herself to pick up this phone, getting ready to plant face forward, face first on the ground. Lauren's like, Nikki, I got it. She reaches down, she picks it up, and now she's trying to steady Nikki back up, right? So she's trying to steady Nikki back up, and she gets her to where she's standing upright, and she goes, Nikki, you need help. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. She goes, you're not fine. You are not fine. She goes, I'll just catch a cab. And she goes, no, I am not going to let you stumble in the street. So you could get hit by a car again. Because remember, she got hit by the car. And I think her grandson Reed was driving and he was with Charlie. what's her name, Lily's son, and they didn't know they hit Nikki because it was snowing and they didn't know who that was. They didn't know what they hit. They couldn't see anything, but the car got damaged, right? So anyway, she goes, so no, I am not about to let you leave anywhere, go anywhere on your own. I will drive you to the ranch. I can't go there. Victor can't see me this way. He can't see me. So Lauren looks and she goes, okay, I got another idea. Lauren gets her a room. Lauren's upstairs with her. She ordered a hot pot of coffee to come up. And Nikki's looking at the menu. And she says, by the way, Nikki, you can't order alcohol in this room. I've made sure that they are not to bring it up here to you. She looks at Lauren like, right? I don't want another drink anyway. And Lauren says, and there's a hot pot of coffee coming. She goes, and by the way, Lauren, no, there was a hot pot of coffee, or Lauren had already ordered, and Lauren was getting ready to pour her a cup. By the way, that doesn't really work. Like hot coffee doesn't sober you up, right? So she brings it over to Nikki. She goes, now be careful, Nikki, it's hot. Nikki takes a sip of it and was like, wah. She did a Lucy face. When I saw that face, I've seen Lucy do, yeah. Oh, she played that so good. Like that was the worst tasting coffee she'd ever tasted. So Lauren told her, no, the phone rang. She goes, Victor is going to worry about you, Nikki. If he does not hear from you all night, that is not going to be good. Well, her phone rang because Victor had been calling her. And her phone rings, and Lauren's like, Nikki, you need to answer this. It's Victor. And Nikki goes, no, you answer it. And Lauren's like, I don't know, you and get rid, tell him anything, get rid of him. So Lauren's like, yes, Victor. And he goes, hello, Lauren, what are you doing answering Nikki's phone? So she says, oh, I had a Finmore's fashion emergency and I called Nikki because no one has fashion sense like Nikki and she's helped me out. And so Nikki's kind of like, and so Lauren stands up and then walks away from Nikki and her back is to Nikki. She goes, yes, Victor. Victor goes, mm-hmm. Well, when is she coming home? Lauren says, we're going to be working all night. And Victor said, she's been drinking, hasn't she? And Lauren says, yes. Like, yes, because she wasn't going to lie like that. Good, good. When she said yes, I thought, good for you, because the way she was talking, she knew Victor wouldn't believe that story. When has Lauren ever called Nikki for a Finmore's fashion emergency? Never. She never has. And Victor knew that. So Victor knew to ask the right question. And so Victor said, okay, I will talk to Nikki at home about this. Look after her, please. And Lauren said, I will. So Nikki wakes up the next morning. She's like, from the, hangover, drunken sleep. And she sees somebody sitting at the little table in the room, in the suite, facing the window, a man's shadow. She's like, who are you? And she has the coat, the sheets up to her. It's my dog clearing her throat. The sheets up to her. Who are you? And it turns around. He's Seth. And he comes over to her with a glass of water. He goes, my name is Seth, and I'm your sponsor. And she goes, how did you get here? And she goes, Lauren Finmore called me. And so he's trying to hand Nikki the water. He goes, you need to get hydrated. And I forget what's in the other hand. I don't know if it's some Tylenol or whatever. You need to get hydrated. Because this hangover, he goes, how's that hangover treating you? And she just looked. He goes, I've been here many times. And she goes, I don't want to ink it. She goes, how did you know? He goes, you gave Lauren Finmore, Miss Finmore, my number, my name and number. She stayed here until 4 in the morning and then she called me. And then I came and she left. I'm sorry. I didn't want to inconvenience you. I didn't want to, put you out. I know you have things to do. He goes, look, Miss Finmore's the one that did all the heavy lifting. I just arrived a few hours ago. I've just been, sitting here. And so she goes, oh, and he goes, you want to tell me how this happened? Oh, I love, a lot of things happened and and he goes, okay, we need to order you a hangover breakfast, get some hot coffee here. And he gives her some, no, he gives her a cup of hot tea. And she says, it's my favorite blend. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so there's a knock at the door. And she's probably thinking it's room service because I thought it was room service. He said she'd go have a hangover breakfast. Or maybe she did have the hangover breakfast and he was giving her tea after. I don't know. But I didn't see any breakfast plates over there. So I don't think so. It was Victor at the door. And she goes, Victor. And Seth is standing there. He takes his jacket. He goes, I will turn her over to you, Mr. Newman. And he leaves. But I thought, okay, good. He leaves Nikki with Victor. And she goes, oh, Victor, I'm so ashamed, Victor. I have let you down, Victor. I did not want you to see me like this. I can't. Oh, she says, I'm in a bad, well, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, my baby, my baby. We are in this together. We're in this together. There's nothing for you to be ashamed about. Let's go home and we'll talk about it. So he takes her home and she changes her clothes and they're just sitting there talking. And he's just talking to her about, he's going to help her through this. But, pretty much she's got to want to get through this, because she was lying to him. And so anyway, they had a good heart to heart, and she's gonna do better for now. Unfortunately, I'm hoping they don't let Nikki's being off the wagon, they don't let it drag on too long because we've been there and done that with Nikki off the wagon. And they've let it drag on and drag on and drag on in the past. So I hope they don't do that this time. But, Victor came and he was supportive and then, supportive in the conversation at home. So we shall see where it goes. So let's go to Comment Corner. Comment Corner. We have one comment. Brooklyn says, hi, Daily Recap Lady. My favorite girl, Michelle Stafford, used to own her own beauty face cream. She is naturally beautiful and doesn't need work done on her face. I know her face looks like it naturally progressed. Now, there was a time, let's face it, y'all. You look at old pictures of Phyllis. Phyllis had a nose job. There ain't no denying that. Okay? None. So anyway, the writers need to squash the ridiculous storyline between Danny, Phyllis, and Christine. It's a waste of time when we should be focusing on some issues that are more important. Hopefully Tucker turns to Phyllis. We need good drama. It makes sense. Thank you for the daily recap. As much as she and Tucker would be volatile together and it would be nothing but trouble, I would like to see the havoc that Phyllis and Tucker could do together. Unfortunately, Phyllis is her best when she's bad. And I would like, but see that whole thing with Jeremy Stark, that was ridiculously stupid for her to get involved with that criminal. But the manipulative, bad stuff, not criminal, but bad, she could get into deceivious stuff up heaving folks' lives that she could do with Tucker. I could see it. It would be entertaining for a time. Let's see what they come up with. And I think she would keep Tucker on his toes. I do believe so, because Audra is no match for Tucker. None. Phyllis is a match for Tucker. But anyway, everybody, that is the Week in the Young and the Restless from Tuesday through Friday. I will be back next week with another daily recap of the Young and the Restless.